This is a promo for a bonus episode of the podcast. Hear 3 of Michelle Eve's personal favorites, which will give you the chills this summer.
David was living there with his parents when the strange activity began. There would be a terrible loud howling noise that came from the kitchen. It sounded as though it was a dog or wolf howling, but parts of the howling sounded almost human too. The howl would last for around 4 seconds, starting with a low moan or growl for a second or 2, then building up to the full howl. It had a very deep tone to it, and David said he had never heard anything like it before. It was around 3 a.m. and Mr. Unsworth was driving back to his depot on the A38. The weather that morning was wet and damp when Mr. Unsworth saw a man trying to flag down a lift. This man looked soaked to the bone as his longish greyish hair was dripping with water. He was wearing a light-coloured overcoat and carrying a torch, so Mr. Unsworth saw him and stopped his lorry to offer this man a lift. The hitchhiker spoke with a well-educated accent and asked Mr. Unsworth to drop him off by a bridge, which was around 4 miles away. As they travelled along, the hitchhiker began talking about accidents that had happened at this bridge. He spoke about these gruesome accidents in a gleeful tone, and Mr. Unsworth was glad when the hitchhiker finally got out the lorry. Late one evening, already dark, when I heard a massive commotion from the chicken shed, banging and thumping. I assumed a fox or something had got in, so went out to check. As I was halfway across the garden, the noise stopped instantly, as if it had been shut off. By the time I got to the shed, all was calm and the chickens were all settled, mostly asleep. No sign of any intruder or disturbance at all. Nothing to explain the noise or any indications that the chickens had made a noise. Bit freaky, but I didn't know much about the ways of chickens, so I locked up again and left them to it.